So you'll edit it so I sound sort of quasi-literate. I'm Philip Roeder. I'm professor of political science at the University of California, San Diego. My specialty is actually the Soviet successor states. I was trained way back during the Cold War, but my research focuses much more broadly on issues of nationalism and secessionist conflicts around the world as well. I mean, the human rights issues in Burma probably date from the very point of independence in 1948. I mean, sadly, even though Burma emerged independent in 1948 and emerged independent as a democracy, the Union of Burma faced a series of secessionist revolts from its minorities in the north, which then over the years have spread to include other minorities on virtually every frontier of the country outside the Irrawaddy River Valley. That has been compounded since 1962, since General Ne Win took power and the end of democracy, so that it is not simply a human rights crisis involving its minority secessionist movements, but also any democratic political opposition. It's become particularly acute in the last 2 decades as the government has become more repressive and as it fears increasingly the opposition of the democratic movements, which won the experiment with democratic elections, which they had to abrogate. The regime abrogated and then began to imprison a good part of the leadership of the democratic opposition. As for Security Council response, that is a more difficult thing to identify. The Security Council has not been able to take strong action in the form of resolutions that prescribe strong action involving civil rights because of the fundamental disagreement among members concerning whether it's legitimate for the Security Council to become involved in the domestic affairs of a country. A number of members of the Security Council do not themselves have admirable records in dealing with either secessionists or democratic movements. At least one of those members is a veto-bearing member, and that everyone appreciates that that would be an absolute obstacle to formal UN action. And so the Security Council instead has debated the issue, discussed it. Those members that are most adamant about this issue have themselves made strong statements, but they've limited the statements from the Security Council to statements by its president, which don't have the same weight and which can be more, can balance the diversity of views within the council.